Hello and welcome. We are broadcasting live from the GlobalNutriPreneurs, the premier global gateway and unified operating system transforming the future of the global agri-food economy. Today, the global food system stands at a critical crossroads. While the demand for functional health, wellness, and nutritional security is expanding exponentially, early-stage innovators face massive roadblocks, fragmented supply chains, opaque cross-border regulations, and a staggering volume of unvetted noise that isolates brilliant founders from institutional capital. The cost of this friction isn't just measured in lost revenue. It is measured in the unacceptably high rate of global food waste and systematic nutritional insecurity. Promoted by the Global Council for Agri-Food Trade and Innovation and the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, Global Nutripreneurs was engineered to dismantle these barriers. We are moving decisively past passive business directories. Powered by a robust digital operating system featuring AI-driven founder mentor matching, automated regulatory compliance hubs, and an integrated virtual deal room, we are systematically transforming high-potential ventures into scalable investment-grade nutri-business. Our ecosystem operates across 6 integrated strategic pillars, uniting a dedicated global R&D network, shared physical infrastructure via decentralized common facility centers, and an ESG-compliant trade and investment marketplace. Right now, our team is executing a massive global pipeline evaluation, reviewing over 10,000 agriculture, food, and nutrition business across more than 150 countries. Our mission is clear: to uncover the elite innovators shaping the next era of wellness, unlock friction-free global market access, and actively drive a 40% reduction in global post-harvest food losses. Today, as part of our Global Trade, Investment, and Sustainability Forum series, we are mapping out the blueprints for the artificial revolution. Joining us is a leader who sits at a very frontier of his transformation. Please welcome to the global stage our guest for today. Dileep Ballal is a distinguished business growth and strategy leader who uniquely bridges the gap between frontline 0 to 1 B2B industrial execution and high-level corporate architecture. Armed with a powerful engineering and agribusiness management background, his multidisciplinary expertise combines a decorated tenure at the CEO's office of major multinationals, McKinsey-grade strategic advisory, and a deep technical mastery of capital equipment, industrial automation, and Industry 4.0 assembly solutions. A battle-tested expert in global go-to-market frameworks, key account management for domestic and international OEMs, the new territory channel development, Dileep specializes in successfully landing high-value imported technologies within complex local market across India, the Middle East, and Africa. Driven by a relentless focus on P&L grounded strategies and sustainable team building, he has built a reputation for accelerating businesses from early stage concept to massive institutional scale. Thank you for joining us today to help shape the future of global nutripreneurs. I now request you to kindly proceed with your presentation. Over to you.
Thank you, Brishika. So, to start with scaling the CFCs from pilot to profitable network, how the ecosystem looks like today. See, when I think about 0 to 1 execution, the biggest mistake today, what I see is scaling sites before scaling a business model. So my playbook is just having 3 steps here, how our entrepreneurs can think of scaling at this extent. First, let's prove the unit. 1 CFC, 1 anchor service. Usually, it might be milling or any process oriented related to the segment or grading. Because throughput is predictable today, the target is 60 to 70% capacity utilization and break even within 18 months from the setup. If one site can't do that, then 50 to 100 sites, neither. They cannot. The second, codify everything. The equipment spec, the operator training, the farmer aggregation model, the pricing, that becomes your franchise blueprint. At these multinationals, whoever we work or who stands as a global player in the segment, we have learned that decentralized processing only works when the playbook is so standardized that local entrepreneur can run it systematically and seamlessly, not just a headquarters team. It has to be distributed across in a uniformity. Third, scale through partners, not payroll. That's the only playbook we can opt here. Local operator owns the CFC. We provide the technology, quality standard, and the offtake linkages that can bring it to a stream. And here is why it matters. Commercially, the FAO estimates around 14% of the world's food is lost between harvest and retail. Every CFC running at utilization is recovering that value locally. That is not a subsidiary story. That's a margin story. Profitability isn't the tension with impact here, it's the delivery mechanism for it. This is all about the scaling CFCs from pilot to profitable network, as we spoke on the simple 3 steps. Now let's talk about trade corridors and non-tariff barriers. My advice to global nutripreneurs is very simple. Pick 2 corridors and own them completely rather than dabbling in multiple. Here is the reality from bridging a Swiss headquarters to a local market for years. First, time exporters almost never fail on the product quality, as we know, because once we know the product, once we know our quality, then only we will take a step up to export, right? For all the first time exporters. Here, it's not about product quality that is not meeting the standard. Here, they fail on the paperwork. Non-tariff measures, residue limits, and mainly the photosanitary certifications, traceability requirements, and labeling, and estimated 10 to 20% cost equivalent to agri-food trade. That's often more than the tariff itself, which is an added cost. So the answer is to industrialize the compliance. Build what I call a compliance in a box package for each corridor. We pre-validate lab testing partners, standardized documentation templates, digital traceability from farm to gate to port, and relationship with customs authority on ends, established once, then reused by every exporter who follows the same trend. The Swiss lesson here is a precision and reputation. Switzerland exports successfully not because it's cheap, they're the most expensive in terms of everything, but because of the process are trusted. When a corridor sees your certification stamp and knows it means to zero surprises, clearance time collapses. Do that for 1 or 2 corridors, publish the clearance success rate, and that track record becomes your marketing. First time exporters don't need 10 options. They need one route that works every single time. This is all about what I would suggest on the trade corridors and non-tariff barriers. It's very simplified. Now, let's talk about freemium to enterprise monetization. The golden rule for SaaS: get outcomes, not futures. Agri builders won't pay for dashboards today because we have a long time to go in this, right? Of course, we are scaling ourselves, but it's a long time to go. The transformation is in route. They'll pay for money. So I would structure 3 tiers here. The free tier is your acquisition engine. Visibility, basic tools, community. Its job is trust and the data, not revenue at the moment. The mid-tier monetizes transactions. This is where you tie the subscription to something the user directly profits from. Verified buyer matching, access to financing, compliance certification that unlocks a premium price for their product. When the tier pays for itself in one deal, conversion stops being a sales conversion and becomes arithmetic. 3 enterprise tier sells certainly, integration into procurement system, the third tier, integration into the procurement ecosystem, dedicated support from the team, service level agreements, portfolio analytics for organizations managing many suppliers. Now the benchmark, typical premium conversion runs 2 to 5%. In agri-tech, you can't beat that. Because unlike consumer software, where your users have measurable income line, you can improve, anchor your pricing to a share of value you create. If certification lifts their selling price 10% at least, a subscription costing 1% is easy yes for anybody. And the long-term play, every freemium user generates data. That data makes the enterprise tier smarter, which funds the platform. That's the flywheel. So to make it simplified version on the freemium to enterprise monetization, I would say let's go for a free tier, mid tier, and the enterprise tier. But it has to sell on itself with the value selling mechanism. Now, the fourth point I would like to talk here is lean teams that outlast the mandate. A very simplified version. Teams outlast their mandate for one reason: they own a number, not a project plan. Projects end, but P&L lines do not. So here is the model I would replicate inside mid-sized agri enterprises. Keep teams at 6 to 8 people, not more than that. Let's keep it simple. The two pizza rule with three non-negotiable. One, a single commercial owner, not a committee, one person accountable for a revenue or saving number from day one. He is accountable. Two, pair innovation with procurement in the same team. In agri-food, this is critical and usually missed. Innovation finds the new ingredient, the new process, the new supplier. Procurement makes it a real at cost. When they sit apart, ideas die in handover. When they sit together, pilots reach the factory floor in months, not years. It's simplified. Three, the embed to transform. Place one innovation lead and one procurement lead inside the client's own structure with the deliberate 12 to 18 months handover plan. The goal is that the capability stays when the consultants leave. So when the consultants are out, the entrepreneurs will not suffer or struggle. They are well equipped to take it forward from the exit. And measure the team on business outcome. Cost per ton, time to market, supplier qualification cycle, never on activity. A lean team that owns a number becomes indispensable. That's why it outlasts the growth mandate that created it. Now we can discuss about first 90 days against the 2.5 trillion gap, what we see today in this particular segment. A 2.5 trillion infrastructure gap sounds like a capex conversion. For a growth leader, the first 90 days should be the opposite. Prove impact pace before you ask for capital. Day 1 to 30, the plan is very simple. Audits for loss hotspots. First, let us know where are the loopholes. Let's have an audit. In agri-food processing, there are always three: energy, waste, and downtime. These are the three important topics. Let me repeat again: energy, waste, and downtime. At multiple multinationals who are already market leaders in this particular space, we see this consistently. 30% of the world's food is grown, but a huge share of value leaks in processing inefficiently. Find your top three leaks and quantify them currently in terms of money, not in terms of ton. When we start quantifying it in terms of the currency, then we'll have real value to it. Now, day 30 to 60 plan. Launch one retrofit with the playbook under 12 months. Typically, that's energy efficiency, motors, heat recovery, process optimization, or byproduct valorization. Turning what you currently pay to dispose of into something small, fast, measurable, simple, waste to energy, adjacency to create more money. Now, day 60 to 90, convert the result into a bankable case. Take the audited savings from the first project to the top decision makers or the investors or the fundraisers, and development of a finance institution who are actively looking for a de-risked sustainability and linked deployments. The principle: Sustainability earns P&L credibility when the first initiative is self-funding. Once impact shows up as cash flow, the 2.5 trillion cap stops being a cost of doing business. It becomes your growth pipeline. Start with the win that funds the next one. That is what I would say in this particular timeline. Here are the closures I want to put across for the each topics which we narrated now. The first, CFCs. The bottom line here is prove one profitable site, codify it, and let local entrepreneurs scale it. Impact travels fastest on a franchise model. For the trade corridors, let's break it to short. Exporters don't fail on product. They fail on paperwork. Own two corridors, industrialize, compliance, and trust does the marketing. Rest is taken care on its own. Now, monetization tiers. Simply put, get outcomes, not features. When the subscription pays for itself in one transaction, conversion is just arithmetic. Fourth, the lean teams. The one rule, give team a number, not a project plan. Projects end, as I spoke earlier, P&L ownership outlast every mandate. So the fifth point is first 90 days chasing the big number. Start with the win that funds the next one. It's very interesting. Let's start with the win that funds the next one. Once sustainability shows up as a cash flow, let me repeat, once the sustainability shows up as a cash flow, the infrastructure gaps becomes your growth pipeline. This has to be the mantra for the rest. So the delivery tips, we can have it to conclude this. On these 5 topics are very simplified. The CFCs, trade corridors, monetization tiers, lean themes, and the clear goal set out to make it happen. So with this, I would like to conclude. My best wishes to all the entrepreneurs who are looking at this space. This particular space is growing in terms of demand, in terms of productivity, in terms of global trade wings, opening at all the gateways. Let's make the best utilization of it. My best wishes and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dileep, for sharing your valuable insights with the Global Nutripreneurs community. I noticed that you already answered the questions that I had in mind. But to add on to that, I would like to ask you, how would you be contributing or helping the Global Nutripreneur initiative?
With the exposure and the expertise which I carry on certain level, I may not be knowing everything, but a bits and pieces which I know, I try to put it across to a paper and pen with 5 simplified version. Now, if somebody wants to reach out to me, or if I want to contribute anything related to the policy or related to building a lean team structure, or how we can think of building a monetization tiers, or how we can get targeted approach on the trade corridors, I think always open to support.
Okay. What an incredible masterclass of a conversation. Thank you for sharing your blueprints with us today, your profound interest, like exactly why global nutritionists exist. So to everyone tuning in across our global network, whether you're an innovator or an investor or a policymaker, the path to plugging into this unified agri-food operating system is clear. For agri-food entrepreneurs and founders, stop struggling in isolation. Fast track your venture through our customized scaling pathways, leverage our AI-driven mentor matching, and utilize our automated regulatory compliance hubs to make your business cross-border ready. For accredited investors, eliminate the noise of unvetted pipelines. Access our pre-evaluated investment grade NutriBusiness directly through our integrated virtual deal room and secure your stake in the next era of health and wellness. For industrial and academic partners, collaborate with us. Let's unlock deep tech innovation through our Global Agri-Food Nutrition Research and Development Forum, and actively build a more equitable ecosystem by championing leadership at our Women in Food, Agriculture, and Nutrition Forum. Together, we can maximize our global networks and deploy decentralized common facility centers to actively drive the 40% reduction in global post-harvest food losses. The future of global agri-food economy is no longer about survival. It is about sustainable nutrition, scientific excellence, and friction-free global trade. Visit globalnutripreneurs.com to secure your application, verify your venture, and claim your place in the future of food innovation. Thank you for joining us on Global Nutripreneurs. Until next time, keep innovating, keep scaling, and build with impact. Thank you so much, Dileep. It was a great
Thank you.
session.